She was frozen, clutching the lunch bag so tight her knuckles were white. She was frozen in the middle of the kitchen. She watched her daughter cry as she hungrily ate her afternoon snack at the counter. She couldn't believe the school could do something like that. She didn't want this to go unnoticed and knew she had to do something about it. Lisa Pearson knew she had to rush to prepare her daughter's lunch, but needed her cup of coffee first. Each day started with a frantic rush to get out of the house, and everything else throughout the day was a frantic rush too. As busy as it was, there was a reason she wasn't going to change anything. Lisa adored her children and had no idea where she would be in life without them. You were the best part of her life. She would do anything for her children, no matter how rushed she felt about it. She knew things were different now than they had been when she was young, but her awareness of that fact would only make what was to come that much more challenging. They lived in a small town called Aurora, Colorado, and she was fortunate to have her children at Aurora's Children's Academy. It was the school every parent hoped their children would attend. Lisa was a single mother trying to live as modestly as possible. Every penny she earned went towards Natalie's education despite studying so hard in law enforcement school. As happy as she was that her daughter was in elite school, there was something she didn't like. She found the staff to be health-oriented. It seemed like everything was getting to the point where Lisa felt like they were nagging. But Lisa could see where they were coming from, with statistics showing an increase in childhood obesity. But that morning it became a problem because they didn't have a specific meal. Lisa had a busy schedule, so she couldn't go shopping the day before. Amid the morning rush, she popped an alternative snack in her daughter's lunch bag before taking her to school. But when she picked her daughter up from school, she didn't expect Natalie to be so upset. When the little girl saw her mother, she held up her lunch bag and waggled her lower lip before starting to whine. Lisa was confused and took the lunch bag her daughter held out to her. What she found upon opening sent her into a state of shock. Everything she had packed that morning remained untouched. Her daughter hadn't even nibbled on her favorite ham and cheese sandwich. But that's when Lisa discovered the note the teacher had hidden inside. Lisa read the part that reminded her of the school's healthy lunch break, but she couldn't help but notice that the note had a condescending tone. But there was more to the letter that would fuel the anger she felt. The letter went on to discuss her daughter not having fruit in her lunchbox and instead having Oreo cookies, which were considered unhealthy. But there was more. As she read, she realized that the teacher had taken Natalie's lunch and could only call it punishment. Her heart broke when she realized how hungry her little girl must have been when she picked her up. Lisa was beyond angry that someone could do something so cruel. There was no way she was going to sit around and let this happen to her daughter. School was no match for her and her love for her children. They had no right to do what they did to their baby. She fumed as she shared what happened on every social media app she could think of. She didn't hesitate to offer her opinion on why the school acted hypocritically. It's not like I offered the whole class cookies, and it's not like that was the only thing she ate for lunch, Lisa said. And she wasn't the kind of mom who shoved in junk food every day. On top of that, her daughter was a healthy weight. But it was the school candy that tipped Lisa over the edge. More than once, the kindergarten teachers had distributed small sweets like gummy bears. They were rewards for winning games or for being good. So why could a school hand out candy at its own discretion, and without telling the parents, but putting a cookie in it was a reason to starve a child? News broke in and her story spread like wildfire through the internet. Some agreed with the school, but most agreed with her, and they sent their own angry responses straight to the academy. But when news outlets got wind of it, the press school finally said something. It was the standard PR nonsense that anyone would expect. But they explained that the notes were not part of school policy, and that refusing food altogether was deplorable. They would get to the bottom of things right away. Even though the months passed and it was time to send her daughter to elementary school, the issue still weighs heavily on Lisa. Still, it was a fresh start. She would continue to pack healthy things, but if someone tried to do such a stunt again, they would regret it. To protect the privacy of those depicted, some names, locations, and identifiers have been changed and are the product of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to actual events or places or people, living or dead, is purely coincidental.